My name is Michael Williams, founder of Start Speaking Training Center, and I want to thank you for joining me. You're probably watching this video because either you or someone you know, like your child, stutters. And they probably don't stutter 100% of the time. It's probably situationally. Maybe when they answer the phone, or when they have to give a presentation, or when they have to speak to someone that they don't know. Whatever the situation is, they stutter during those times. And you've been searching for solutions and for resources to help them or to help yourself. You've probably tried speech therapy already. You've probably been to a speech pathologist. You've probably tried programs. And perhaps you haven't found the perfect solution. So what I want to do is to share with you a little more information about the Pro90D Private Intensive Coaching. Now, Pro90D Private Intensive Coaching is not a service. It's not a customizable service. It's a product. It's a systematic approach to not stopping stuttering, not treating stuttering, not overcoming stuttering, but to helping you become an excellent speaker, to helping you start to speak more smoothly, more fluently, and confidently. Now, what's the difference there? Well, I want to challenge you to maybe change your perspective or redefine what treating stuttering is actually all about. Here's what I mean. Let's start here. Would you not agree that stuttering is in fact a way of speaking? Stuttering is a way of speaking, right? It's a way of speaking. It's a disfluent way, but it's a way of speaking. Second, speaking, therefore stuttering or stammering, is an action or a behavior, right? It's something that we do, is it not? It's something that we do. Now, there are some aspects of it that's involuntary, but it's still something that we do. Okay. Speaking and stuttering, right, which is a form of speaking, is also habitual, right? It's something, or there's a pattern to it. It's something, once again, that we do, something that we do automatically, right? You don't have to think about it. It's a habit. It's a pattern of behavior. So if you agree with these three things, and it's really hard not to, right? I'm sure you can, but it's really hard not to agree that it's an action. It is something we do, and often it's involuntary, but it's something we do. It is a way of speaking, right? Because if you're not speaking, then you're mute. So it's a way of speaking. It's a disfluent way. And it's habitual. So it's something that's kind of automatic, and we do it in certain situations, right? It's a habit. It's a habit, a habitual pattern. If that's true, then there's good news. There's good news. You want to know what the good news is? The good news is that because it's all three of these things, it can be either, listen, changed or replaced. It can be changed or replaced. And what I suggest is that stuttering can't be really treated. It can't be stopped. It can't be modified or changed. But it can be replaced with a newer, more smoother, more fluent, more confident way of speaking. So my approach, the Pro90D approach, is not to try to tinker around and fix stuttering and fix this situation and try to stop this and overcome this and manage that. It's to simply replace it with a newer, more fluent way of speaking. Does this make sense, right? This is better because it doesn't just get one to the place where they're not stuttering, but it takes you beyond that to a place where you become a person that can command attention with your voice and your speaking style, where you can stand up and give a presentation at work or give a presentation at school, where you can pass an interview confidently, where you can speak to someone and communicate with them in such a way that they enjoy communicating with you. They want to share things with you and they want to listen to you because you're an excellent speaker, an excellent communicator. So I'm looking for people to work with who don't just want to stop stuttering, but who need to become excellent speakers. I want to give you a few examples just to kind of represent this. One is James Earl Jones. You may have heard of him, one of the greatest voices of all times, of our day anyway. Played Darth Vader, right, for a while. And he started stuttering when he was younger, had some situations at home, and was around his uncle a lot, and his uncle stuttered. But he wrote an essay one time, and his teacher didn't believe that he actually wrote it. He says, okay, I want you to actually come in and present this. And he did such a great job of presenting. His teacher said, okay, I want you to do this, I want you to do this again, and then I want you to go ahead and join, you know, the debating team and all different kinds of teams that would require him to speak. Because he said, you have a gift. You do this very well. And so that was the beginning of kind of his speaking and acting career. And so he is now one of the greatest voices of all times. But he had something in his life that helped him get there, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's look at another example, King George. I think King George VI, the guy that was represented in the King's Speech. And obviously he had a terrible way of speaking and stammer. Confidence was low in that area. And he met someone who was probably not accepted. He wasn't even a licensed speech therapist, and probably was not accepted during that time as someone who could treat stuttering, at least not by the institutions. So he had some very creative ways of helping King George to start to speak well. Right? He didn't try to actually fix stuttering, he helped him speak well. Well, there was something in King George's life that was also present in James Earl Jones' life. Now let's go back and let's look at another example. It's way back. His name is Demosthenes. Demosthenes is known as one of the greatest Greek orators of all time. Demosthenes says his speech was so bad, people would rather listen to sailors than him. Now what that meant was back then, sailors used to curse and they spoke terribly. No one wanted to listen to them. But people would rather listen to them than Demosthenes because he stuttered so bad. So what did Demosthenes do? Well, someone actually worked with him and gave him some advice. And one of the things he started to do is he started to learn how to mimic other people who spoke well. And he started to learn how to use his voice in a very rhythmic way. And so he went down in his basement, he shaved half his head so that he wouldn't really want to go out in public. He put rocks in his mouth, he ran upstairs, he spoke before water to get that nice projection. He did all kinds of exercises and work so that he would be able to speak and present in an excellent manner. Now they say that he might have not been the greatest conversationalist because maybe some of his stuttering was still there. But as far as giving presentations, he was awesome. But he had something in common with the other two guys. What was it? He had a coach. He had someone to encourage him, to instruct him, to evaluate him, to give him feedback. That's what I do. The Pro90D Private Intensive Coaching is something, it's an approach that I've developed that's very systematic, and it works. It works because it's not based on fixing or tinkering around with stuttering. It's based on changing a pattern, a way, a habit, a habitual way of speaking. It's based on not even really changing it, but replacing it with something that's better. So you and I can create new habits. We can create new patterns. And because that's true, you can create a new way of speaking. What you probably can't do is fix stuttering, right? That's why I say, well, once you stutter, you can't really get rid of it. Well, I'm not going to say you never can. They're probably right. But we don't want to focus on stuttering. What we want to focus on is the kind of speech that you want to have, that you want to perform. And what is that? You want to speak more smoothly. You want to speak more fluently. You want to speak more confidently. You want to speak naturally. Well, you don't have to think about it, right? So my job is to help you get there. Pro90D Private Intensive Coaching is a process, a systematic process that I take you through that helps get you to that place. Does that make sense? That's exactly people what we don't just want to stop stuttering. I don't just want to get over it because it's inconvenient. I'm looking for people who need to speak well, who's desperate to speak well. You want to do well, at work, in your career. You want to do well in meetings and in presentations and interviews. You want to do well in school. You want to do well in all of your interactions that require you to speak. Those are the people I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who are committed to their own personal improvement, right? Those are the kind of people that I'm looking for. I'm also looking for people who are willing to invest in themselves. Some people don't want to invest time nor money into themselves. So if, in fact, you want to work with me and you want me to work with you, you have to be willing to work hard, because it's going to require a lot of hard work. It's going to require some time, right? And it's going to require some finances, some investment on your part. I have the price listed below. It's very clear. I know that not everyone's going to be able to afford that, but I devote and invest a lot of time in you. I work with you at least 2 hours a week. I have some programs that are 8 weeks, some that are 90 days, and some that are 4 months. We meet twice a week. So I put a lot of time and a lot of energy, and there's been a lot of research and all that kind of stuff that goes into this. And each time that I work with people, it gets better and better and better. And so you're able to achieve greater and greater results as a result of my experience doing this. And so you can be confident to know that you will, if you do the work, you will learn, not just learn, but you will be able to speak more smoothly, more fluently, and more confidently as a result of working through this process with me. And I want to reiterate, I'm not just teaching you how to do it, you're actually going to experience it, you're actually going to do it, okay? So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this, to share this time with me. Please do your research, check out the information that I have on this website, check out my YouTube videos, whatever you want to check out. If you need to speak with someone, I have a few people that you can email and talk to. But basically, you're going to need to be convinced yourself by just going through the material yourself, trying it, thinking about it. You're going to need to be convinced that this is going to work for you. And if you are, I can guarantee that it is going to work for you. Okay? This is Michael Williams, and I look forward to working with you soon.